So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the man of the hour, and on a subject that we're all really excited to be learning about, because some people feel that maybe you're born with entrepreneur mindset. Maybe you're born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's Travis's medicine cabinet. But really, leadership is not, you're not born with an entrepreneur mind. That's something that's created, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Travis is going to be talking to us about how to cultivate an entrepreneur mind. And before I introduce you, or before I hand it over to you, Travis, I would like to just say that Travis, if for those of you guys who don't know who Travis is he's the top dog. He doesn't have an upline, okay? The company is Travis and Summer's upline. And when I first met Travis and Summer, I had known who they were through social media. And I actually remember seeing him on Rise of the Entrepreneur. That is the documentary that Eric Worre had done on entrepreneurism and in network marketing. And him and Summer, they're such an incredible couple, someone that I look up to all the time, because I don't know how they do it with 6 children at home, and you never see them frazzled. You never see them like out of character. Like, this is who they are. They're like totally cool cucumbers, and they're incredible leaders. They have had success in multiple different companies. Multiple seven-figure earners. They are people that you want to follow and listen to intently. So I highly recommend taking some ferocious notes on this next segment, because if you feel like you don't have an entrepreneur mindset, that's BS. First of all, that's your first mistake, is just feeling that way and thinking that way. But secondly, really with an open mind, listen to what Travis has to say, because you can develop that leadership and that entrepreneur mindset, and he's going to teach us how. So without further ado, Travis, take it away.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. And I just, again, want to say, Mike, we're so proud of you. Congratulations. We're going to add you to our Legacy Influencers group, Influencer Factory, we call it. Once you hit the level of influencer, you get brought into the inner circle crowd. So you'll be getting a welcome into that page here a little later on tonight. So once again, loved your words, man. Really, really proud of you. Real quickly, I want to just ask everybody a question. So when you hear the word mindset of an entrepreneur, I want you to pick one word, whatever it is. What word comes to mind for you? What is a successful entrepreneur? What kind of qualities do they have? I'd love to know. Just write it into the chat box for me if you don't mind. What's the one word that you can think of that comes to mind? So Rachel, that's 2 words, not one. No, I'm teasing you. No excuses, for Rachel says. Focused. Greg, you're absolutely right. They are focused. They know where they're going. Jeff Higgins says motivation. Absolutely. They're committed. I love that, Tracy. You're right. They've got grit. That's a good one. Darcy says persistence. They're independent. They're driven. They're innovators. Absolutely. They definitely are open-minded. Right? The height of all stupidity is forming an opinion without knowing all the facts. Determination, focused. I like that word, influencer. That's a great word. Creative, no fear, flexible, adventurous. These are all great. So one of the most important observations that I've made about entrepreneurship over the past 20 years is that it doesn't matter how great of an idea you have. It doesn't matter how great your timing is. It doesn't matter how great your products are or how many people need what you're offering. If you don't have your mind right, if you haven't learned how to think like a millionaire, if you haven't learned how to think like a successful entrepreneur, then you're never going to be a millionaire. You're never going to be a successful entrepreneur. Just as every master craftsman is equipped with the proper tools to create works of art, we as entrepreneurs, we must be equipped with the right belief system. We must be equipped with the right attitude. We have to be equipped with the right philosophies to not only bring new ideas to life, to our business, to our team, to our organization, but to endure the emotional journey that is ahead, right? Because this is an emotional journey as an entrepreneur. To succeed as an entrepreneur, you have to have the right mentality from the start. And I refer to this as the entrepreneur's mindset. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. And my hope is that I give you some different perspective, help you to think about some things that maybe you haven't thought about before. This mindset has several intertwining aspects. And that's going to be our focus over the course of the next 30 to 40 minutes as we really break this down. So for starters, as business owners, you must approach your Uforia business with an unshakable resolve and an absolute certainty that you will succeed no matter what. You have to be willing to choose success. I want you to write number one, choose success. Now, I know that sounds easy, right? You're probably thinking, why wouldn't I choose to succeed if it's a matter of choice? But here's the thing, you guys. The truth is, many of you have been subconsciously opposing success your whole life without even knowing it. Think about that for a moment. Napoleon Hill once said, no one is ready for a thing until he believes that he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. I'm going to say that again. No one is ready for a thing until he believes that he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. To succeed, you must be willing to make the decision that you're going to obtain everything that you want out of life, and that Uforia is the business that is going to take you from where you are to where it is that you want to go. How many of you have made that decision? How many of you have burned the bridges of retreat? How many of you have already decided? Drop an I into the comment section if you've truly made that commitment. I want to know how many of you are there. And it's okay if you're not. My hope is by the end of this call that we help move you there. Susan says she needs to do that. Listen to me. To succeed, you must be willing to make the decision that you are going to obtain everything that you want from Uforia. From this point forward, you've got to sell out to the notion that success is a choice. And if you have even the smallest doubt, it'll be exposed down the road. And unfortunately, that doubt will eventually begin to grow internally, just as a cancer cell would. Think about it. Cancer starts out as a one little cell, right? It starts out as one, and it has one little goal: to divide and conquer. But doubt works the same way, and it'll eventually overtake all of your hopes and dreams if you allow it to. Belief, and I want you to write this down, belief is what creates the actual fact. Belief is what creates the actual fact. Now, the biggest difference that I've noticed between successful entrepreneurs and those that struggle, it's not even intelligence. It's not even the opportunity. It's not the timing. It's not even the resources. It's the belief that they can make their goals happen. In fact, recent studies suggest that self-confidence is the single greatest attractive quality a person can have. There's a quote that I love. It goes something like this: they knew who she was when she walked into the room. Think about that. They knew who she was when she walked into the room. It's a powerful statement, right? You ever been in a room before and somebody walks in and you just look and you're like, it's not ego, it's just confidence, and it's attractive. And on the contrary, you ever been in the room and somebody walks in and they literally suck the life out of the room? How many of you know somebody who just every time they walk in, they just suck the life out of the room? Self-confidence is the most attractive quality on the planet. Confidence is how it's seen in how we walk. It's seen in how we talk. It's seen in how we dress. It's seen in our attitude towards ourselves. It's seen in our attitude towards others. But there's really a few different types of belief that you really have to master. The first is belief in yourself. Getting a little bit of feedback. I don't know if somebody's on the call-in line. If you are, if you don't mind just muting out. Let me see who that is. Okay, I got it there. Okay, good deal. All right, so the first one, belief in ourselves, starts when we value who we are, when we value what we offer, when we value what we bring to the table. You know, you guys have probably heard the saying, the golden goose, right? I believe that we have the golden goose with Uforia. Now more than ever before in the history of our economy, people are looking for solutions and they have no idea where to turn. The average household income in the United States is $4,120. That's combined household income. $4,120. So let's go ahead and let's do the math. So let's make a house payment out of that. Okay, so let's make a house payment, reasonable house payment. Let's say $1,500. Let's say make a car payment out of that, $400, $500. Let's make some insurance out of that. Let's go take care of some groceries. Let's take care of some insurance. Let's take care of some gas. Anything left, you guys? At that point, $4,120. People are searching for solutions. And guess what? I have them. People are looking for better health. They're looking for longevity. They're looking for quality of life. Guess what? I have it. They're looking for more time in their life to be able to do the things that they want to do rather than the things that they have to do. Guess what? I offer it. So to me, I walk around as if I have the golden goose, because I do. And it's that confidence. It's that knowing what I bring to the table that demands that respect from others as well. So, and that starts with you, knowing what you bring to the table, valuing who you are, valuing your unique, beautiful gifts that you bring to the table, even your time, valuing that time and knowing that your time is extremely valuable. The second type of belief that you need is you need belief in your product. If you're here and you're in this business and you're not consuming the product and you're thinking, well, I'll just try and build the business, but I don't need to invest in the product yet, then you're missing out completely on what this business is about. Because at the end of the day, you've got to have that personal belief, that personal testimony. And not just that, I would encourage you, if you have a spouse, sometimes the amazing breakthrough testimony comes from a spouse or someone else close to you. So for Summer and I, we're both on the product. I wouldn't even think of building this business if I wasn't on the product. You have to be a product of the product. So you have to have belief in the product. Where does it come from? From being consistent and taking the product. You have to have belief in the opportunity. Where does that come from? Plugging into calls just like this. We have 74 people on this call tonight. We should have 274 people on this call tonight. Congratulations to each and every one of you for being here and making a commitment to your business. But I promise you, by the end of this call tonight, you're going to wish that you had 5 more people on your team that were here. So we're going to do a future call. Michael, write this one down because I know you'd be great at this. The art of promotion, because that's a call that we definitely need to work on a little bit. But listen, we got to have belief in our business. Where does that come from? Plugging in. Why? Because when you first start in the business, your belief is not there yet, right? So when you get on a call like this and you hear Michael Chavez speak and he says, listen, if I can do it, you can do it too. Guess what? Your belief level goes up a little bit. Every time you get on these calls, your belief level goes up. You're building that belief and that contagious enthusiasm. Guess where else it comes from? Attending the events. I remember sitting in the back row, guys, at an event, never spoken on stage, never spoken on a call, never had any success in network marketing. I went to this event unsure whether or not I could be successful in this industry, and I watched one person or another walk across that stage. No offense to them, but I remember saying, listen, Summer, if they can do it, I can do it too. If that guy can do it, I know I can do it too. So going to the events, that's where that belief comes from. So you got to have that belief in the product. You got to have the belief in the opportunity. You got to have the belief in the company. Guys, I mean, I've never been, 15 years, I've never seen as solid of an opportunity as this before. Ron Williams, Eric Worre, LaCour Enterprises, the timing, Blue Ocean, all of those things. But you got to have all of those beliefs. And then I'm going to add one more. You got to have belief in your dreams. You got to have belief in your dreams. I remember many years ago, I had a friend of mine reach out to me, pick up the phone. He says, hey, Travis, what's going on? I says, nothing, Dave. How are you? And he says, well, I'm doing pretty good. Listen, I went to this meeting last night. I'm like, uh-oh, I know where this call's going. He says, I went to this meeting last night. He says, it's a good opportunity. Have you heard of XYZ company? It was a juice blend company back in the day. He says, yeah, I've heard of them. He says, well, I figured I'd throw $300 at it, see what happens. It might work, it might not, but I figured I'd throw $300 at it. What the heck? And I remember thinking to myself, in fact, I think I even said to him, Dave, listen, we got to work on your pitch first and foremost, because if that's where your belief system is that you're going to throw $300 at this and you're going to hope to get lucky, you're going to see what happens, I can promise you that I personally am never going to follow you. You know why? Because I follow people that know where they're going. I follow people that lead people to the promised land. I follow people that know that they can help me go from where it is to where I am to where it is that I want to go, right? It comes back to that belief. So think about how your energy, about your confidence in your dream, how strong is it? Because I know that when I get on the phone with people, when I launched my business, I called a few of my friends and said, listen, I'm launching a business right now. This is going to be the biggest thing that I've ever done before. And the people that choose to lock arms with me right now at this stage of the game, they're going to win big over the course of the next year. The last thing that I wanted, Rachel, is for you to come back to me a year from now and say, why didn't you tell me about this? So consider this your notice. I've got 10 seats that are sitting on my board of directors. I've been invited to participate in a pre-launch of perhaps the most significant company that has launched in network marketing in the last 20 years. And you know what? I can bring a few friends with me. And I've got a list of people that I'm calling today. You're at the top of that list. I need to know right now, Rachel, are you in? Are you out? Tell me yes, tell me no. Tell me fast because I got to go. Guys, that's belief. That's confidence. I know what my dream looks like, and I paint that vision every day, and that's what people buy into. You also have to learn how to build rapport. The first step in building rapport and connecting with others is learning to value who you are. Listen to this. We cannot convince others of how wonderful and marvelous we are if we don't believe it. When we value us, when we value what we bring to the table, when we value our time, others will also value those items equally. It's our sense of self-value which ultimately attracts or detracts from our business. And some of you have been going around doubting yourself your entire life. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this kind of favor in my life. I'm not smart enough. You know what? I can never have the talent that Michael Zappia has. I can never be like him. You know what? Listen to me. When we truly don't believe we can accomplish our goal, it makes it easier to find excuses for even trying. I want to say that one more time. When we truly don't believe that we can accomplish our goals, it makes it easier to find excuses for even trying. Well, I don't need to get on the call tonight. I'll put it off another day. Listen, that call's not that important. When we don't have belief, we will subconsciously avoid the things that need to be done. Anybody ever done that before? When you don't have the belief, you just kind of, you start to make excuses in your mind. After all, what's the point anyways? Let me let you guys in on a little secret. If you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else believe in you? A big part of attracting prospects to our business idea is the certainty that we will succeed. Think about it. In a world of uncertainty, and there's a lot of uncertainty right now in our world, one of the things that we crave the most is certainty. That's what we crave the most. So listen, certainty is the ability to be certain about what we know, what we do, and what we say. Okay, certainty is the ability to be certain about what we know, what we do, and what we say. And without certainty, we become anxious. We become uncomfortable. Sometimes we even become fearful, right? Think about, again, the quote that I gave you earlier. They knew who she was when she walked into the room. Think about that statement. If you think about people that that are confident, they know where they're going. You're attracted to those people. The way they walk, the way they dress, the way they carry themselves. And again, confidence is such a captivating attribute. When somebody's confident, they're assured, they're secure with themselves, they're clear. And again, I'm not talking about ego. Listen to this, you can feed your ego or you can feed your pocketbook, but you can't feed both. The moment that ego takes over and the moment that you start thinking the deal is about you, you've already lost. You've already lost. Now, so we're talking about confidence, not arrogance. There's a big difference between the two. And I know so many people too that appear to have it all together, but they lack confidence. They have every reason to be self-confident, but for some reason they're insecure and they're self-doubting. And if you think about why this is, it boils down to old negative beliefs and baggage that we've been lugging around our entire lives. I'll give you an example. You have a pretty good singing voice, but somewhere along the line, somebody told you something negative about your singing. And from that point on, every time that you sing, those words repeat in your head. A belief is a thought that you repeat over and over until it becomes a truth for you. But that doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. And there's unlimited examples of this. Somebody tells you that your legs are too skinny. That happened to me once. I was working out all the time. Somebody told me my legs were too skinny. I didn't wear shorts for a year to the gym. Any guys relate? They know what I'm talking. There's a few of you guys out there. I didn't wear shorts for probably years. Somebody probably told you at one point that you're overweight or you're too heavy or you're not an artist or you're a bad driver or you're not good at sales or you can't do this well or you can't do that well. Here's what you need to understand. It's important that you understand this. When we hold on to these negative beliefs, it causes insecurities and it results in our not being confident. So how do we break that cycle and let our true, beautiful, uniquely divine selves emerge and shine brightly? First, here's the thing. We need to be aware of the truths that we believe about ourselves. When a thought comes into your mind like, listen, I am just so stupid, or look, I'm never going to be like those guys, you need to evaluate that belief. My question is, are you? I almost guarantee the answer is no. I almost guarantee it. So why do we continue to put ourselves down and believe these non-truths? You would never if somebody talked to someone that you care about, one of your children, the way that we talk about ourselves, you would freak as a parent. But for some reason, we're so hard on ourselves. And the reason why is because it's a habit. So you got to break it. You got to break it. Next time you hear yourself telling yourself something negative, stop it. You've got to stop it and replace it with a positive and cover that lie with a beautiful truth. You got to cover that lie with a beautiful truth. Would you let somebody that talk to you that way? You wouldn't. Would you talk to someone you love like that? Of course not. So don't talk to yourself like that. It breaks your spirit. It breaks your self-esteem and ultimately your confidence. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things. What does confidence look like? You know, confident people, they don't worry about what other people think. How many of you guys kind of struggle a little bit about what are people going to think about me in this business, right? I did when I first started. I had all kinds of friends that made fun of me when I first started. High school friends, buddies of mine that we were just reconnecting on social media, and I was just getting started on network marketing. I had all kinds of friends totally make fun of me. And you know what? Almost every one of them that made fun of me now over the course of the last 10 years has come to me privately and said, how do you do what you do? I want more information. But they made fun of me when I first started. So here's the thing. People that are successful, they're so sure of themselves that they don't need other people's approval to feel good. Do you wonder and worry what other people think about you? Just remember this. What other people think about you, it's none of your business. It's none of your business. Another thing is you can see it in their body language. They walk with purpose. They don't fidget with their arms and hands. They stand tall. They hold their head up high. They have their shoulders back. They move in closer when they're conversing. And they're comfortable to give a loving touch. They shake your hand with strong assurance when they do. And when you walk into a group setting or an unfamiliar setting, I would ask you to think about what does your body language say about you? Their facial expressions, they scream confidence, they smile. Their eyebrows are happy and expressive when they make contact. They look forward as if they know where they're going. They look forward as if they know where they're going. They don't look down. They don't try to be invisible. So what messages are you sending, guys, just from your facial expressions? They speak in a pleasing way. They speak highly of themselves and others. They don't use bad or harsh language. When you're truly secure with yourself, you don't need to put down others to feel good about yourself. You know, I truly believe a rising tide raises all ships. I love to see other people win. I don't care if they're in my company or not. I'm a competitive guy, yeah, but the reality is, I believe that if I can go out and congratulate and celebrate others, I know that that's going to come back around to me sometime as well. There's something I heard a long time ago that rings true to me, and maybe it does for you. Intelligent people talk about ideas. Average people talk about things. Small people talk about other people. So I would ask you, what do you talk about? Intelligent people talk about ideas. Average people talk about things. Small-minded people talk about other people. So what do you talk about? Another thing is loving yourself. You may be the best at everything or may not be the best at everything or have the perfect this or have the perfect that. But being confident is not that. It's being honest with yourself and comfortable with who you are. Just being comfortable with who you are. It's being your authentic self. Authenticity is the gateway to building true relationships in life. It's knowing who you are and, again, the value that you bring to the table. And I'll share another quote with you that I love. It is shine bright with belief and people come from miles just to catch a glimpse. Shine bright with shine bright with belief and people will come from miles just to catch a glimpse. You know, an entrepreneur doesn't need an MBA to be successful, but there's a certain mindset an entrepreneur must cultivate to grow and to understand and to lead their business. Business leaders who attain this kind of mindset are the ones that are ultimately going to succeed. It was Ralph Waldo Emerson who once said, to be great is to be misunderstood. Starting a business is not for the weak and weary, you guys. It requires, I'm having a hard time talking. It requires a great deal of courage to go after your dreams. It requires, somebody wrote courage in there when we were talking about mindset. Here's the thing. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to challenge your ideas. After all, who are you to make a better life for yourself? Small-minded people is the price that you have to pay to be successful in this business. Small-minded people, you're going to have to tolerate them. Again, when I first started my business, right out of high school, I started my first traditional business. It's a pressure washing company. And right out of school, my friends laughed at me for choosing not to go to college. I went to college for one day, and it just wasn't for me. It was like I was trying to wear a funny outfit that just didn't fit. And all my friends, they're just like, what are you going to do? I mean, are you just going to clean concrete the rest of your life? I was like, no. And I'm going to hire you guys to help me clean the concrete. I'm going to put you through college. And guess what? They put me into my first house. That's how I think. So when we first started in network marketing, again, those same friends, they made fun of me. Several years later, those same friends reached out to me asking, how are we able to do the things that we want to do rather than the things that we have to do? And I says, oh, it's that business that you made fun of me about. You have to be able to withstand the heat, you guys. The moment that you make a decision to improve your life, people around you, sometimes the people that are closest to you will try to put you down. They'll try to pull you down. You ever heard the term crabs in a bucket or crabs in a barrel before? Anybody ever watched crabs in a bucket? What happens? One will claw and get on top of the other one. Another one will claw, and they'll keep clawing and get to the top. And then you know what happens? All of a sudden, one finally reaches the top, starts to pull it out, and guess what the rest do? Pull it right back down inside. And you know what happens is a lot of our friends and a lot of our family members and sometimes people that are closest to us, they feel threatened when you start trying to improve your life because it reminds them of everything that they don't have. And you're going to have people, sometimes people that are closest to you, that try to pull you down. You got to have thick skin. Here's what I've since learned. I shouldn't worry about what people are thinking about me, because chances are, if this is for you, for those of you that struggle with what are people thinking about me, and that's holding you back, I want you to listen to this very closely. You shouldn't worry about what people are thinking about you, because chances are they're not thinking that much about you at all. And I don't mean to say that harshly. It's not because they don't care about you. It's because they're way too focused on their problems. They're way too focused on their problems, how they're going to pay their bills, how they're going to provide for their family. Even more, they're probably worried about what other people are thinking of them. So everybody's running around and everybody's worried about what everybody's thinking of each other. Sounds pretty silly, right? They're definitely way too preoccupied with their own troubles to be worried about what it is that I'm doing. And you know what? I also came to the conclusion that it's pretty dang hard to pay my bills with other people's opinions. Anybody else figured out how to pay their bills with other people's opinions yet? I haven't been able to figure it out yet. So unless these people are going to pay my mortgage, they're going to pay for my kids' orthodontics bills, dance bills, prom, cheer, 6 kids, my food bill, Costco bill every week. Give me a break, right? So unless they're going to pay for those things, then it's time to stop worrying about what other people think. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. You will always be their prisoner. Do you know that studies show that in a funeral, on average, 10 people will care enough to cry for you? This is true studies. 10 people will care enough to cry for you. And get this, the number one thing that will determine how many people will go to your burial site is the weather. It's the weather. It's not how you lived your life or how many good deeds that you've done, but the circumstances of the weather. When I heard this, I was like, wow. My entire outlook on getting approval from others changed pretty quickly. I no longer cared what people thought of me. You know why? Because their rejection had zero power over me. It's a very liberating way to think about it. Why do I care what these people think? We spend most of our lives worrying about what other people think. Most of these people you worry about wouldn't even attend your funeral. And if they do, they likely won't even cry. And if they do, poor weather might even keep them from attending the burial. And yet we're worried about it. Sounds crazy, right? Always remember this. Don't let people who don't matter, matter. Don't let people that don't matter, matter. Steve Jobs once said, your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your inner voice. And most importantly, have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition, because they somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. And this leads me to my next point. You have to avoid negativity like it's the plague. You have to avoid it like it's the plague. You have to learn to filter out the negativity. We live in a world that surrounds us with negativity. We get it from regular social media outlets because guess why? It sells. Drama sells. There's no shortage of it from the people around you every day, the coworkers, bosses, subordinates, friends, family, strangers on the street will seek you out just to share the garbage in their lives. They will. Don't just walk away from negativity, guys. You've got to run from it. Get as far away from it as you can. Not only does it impact our perspective with regards to our own lives, but it impacts literally our mental and our physical health. I make it a priority to avoid drama and negativity like it is the plague. I do. I avoid it like it's the plague. I'm always on the lookout for the firefighters. I'm on the look. You know what a firefighter is? These are the people who love to go around and put out everybody else's fire. We all know somebody like this. You all know somebody like this. They're always negative. They're always complaining. They feel as if life has dealt them a bad hand of cards, right? They're unlucky. So they feel it's their duty to make everybody else miserable right along with them. Anybody know somebody like that? These are the people who literally, they suck the life out of the room when they walk in. And we all have that one family member who all they want to talk about every time you get together is how bad their life is, how bad they hate their boss, how bad they hate their job. Their health is horrible, how broke they are. The sky is falling, blah, 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 right? So you got to analyze your crew, as you've got to constantly be analyzing your crew. It's vital to your success that you avoid the firefighters and you surround yourself with the firelighters. You need to actively seek out people who inspire and motivate and encourage you. People who believe in you and they share the same goals and dreams and wishes and values as you do. The very moment that Summer and I made a conscious decision to raise the bar on who we hung out with and who we allowed into our inner circle, everything changed in our life. We started networking with a purpose, going to events and seeking out mentors that had what we wanted. And one of the most important decisions that we made in life and who we make and still make every day is who we surround ourselves with. We're very guarded. Summer and I are very, very guarded on who we allow into our inner circle. And we've continually raised that bar. You know, there's a saying, and it's show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And it's so true. And the reason is because we lean on our friends a lot. We share our successes and we share our challenges with them. And it's important that these people be the ones who support and encourage us. We've got to find a good, solid support system of friends who will support our goals and our dreams and our wishes. And some of you right now are thinking in your head, I just don't have anybody like that. You have 70 of them on this call right now. There's 70 of them right here, right now. And there's a lot more of them in your team pages and in the legacy page. There's a whole lot of people that share the same common goals and dreams and wishes as you do. So you got to do an analysis of your circle of friends and see whether they add value to your life or they take away from it. Do they add or do they subtract? And always surround yourself with people who want to help you reach your goals. If you want to be financially successful, surround yourself with those who are financially successful. If you want to improve your relationship with your spouse, guess what? Surround yourself with people who have happy marriages. If you want to hang out with people who are broke, chances are you're going to be broke right along with them. Always remember this. A man who wants to lead the orchestra must be willing to turn his back on the crowd. A man who wants to lead the orchestra must be willing to turn his back on the crowd. Another thing you're going to need some perseverance. You're going to need some perseverance. Every successful company that I've been involved with has gone through some periods where things didn't work, customer service wasn't, working just perfectly. Shipping issues kind of popped up here and there, especially when they're launching. That's where perseverance and tenacity come into play. If you want things to be perfect, do us a favor, call us back next year because we're the pioneers and it's the pioneers that they write about in the history books. Next year, things will be perfect and it's totally dialed in and smoothed out. And if you're looking for that, come back next year because right now, guys, this is where the opportunity is. More than anything, you know what entrepreneurship is? It's a game of attrition. It's a game of attrition. It's about having the determination and the discipline to see it through. It's about not giving up and being the last man or the last woman standing when everybody else has fallen to the wayside. You want a recipe for a success? I'm going to give it to you right now. You want to know what it is? Be here a year from now. Be here 1 year from now. Because as entrepreneurs, we have to prepare ourselves for failure, but expect to fail forward. Summer and I, we've had some I mean, we've had our ups and downs financially in business. We've made a lot of mistakes in this business. But you know what? We've always failed forwards. In a study conducted by Duke University and the University of Southern California, 549 successful company founders said that the most important reason for their success was their ability to learn from their mistakes. Learning from failure is truly how we succeed. An entrepreneur who makes it big on his first try, they're a rare story, you guys. The path to success is not straight. The road is full of potholes. The journey has many detours. No matter how meticulously you plan, you're gonna make a mistake. You're probably and hopefully gonna make more than one. And some entrepreneurs, they fixate on the idea that they'll succeed on the first try and give up without a second try. By not anticipating failure, they've actually failed. So part of preparing your mindset tonight, it was important for me to help you understand that you are going to fail in this business. You're going to fail for a little while. In fact, you're going to do a lot of things in the beginning that you don't get paid for. And some of you are going to go, well, the comp plan doesn't work. I've been working way too hard. I'm just telling you, you're going to get paid for a lot of things that you don't do in the beginning, but you're going to get paid for a ton of things that you don't do down the road. You know, a great example of a genius. I just got back from Disneyland. I literally walked into my house about 40, maybe 30 minutes before this call started. Summer and I sat down with the family 120 days ago, and we said, look, we're going to launch a new business. It's going to require a lot of our time and effort and commitment. And that means that we're going to have to make some sacrifices. You know what? Monday nights, dinner's going to have to be later because we will always be on this. You will never see me miss this Monday night call unless it's something significant happening or I'm traveling. You know, we're going to be on some calls. We're going to be doing a lot, weekends, and I might not be able to make every single event that's going on. But here's the thing, guys. I want you to understand the law of sacrifice. If you work with us on this over the next 120 days, at 120 days, we're going to go celebrate. We're going to go do something fun. This is the goal that we have in mind. This is what we want to achieve. And we actually sat down and showed them what the creator rank was and what the volume requirements were and everything that we were going to do. And literally, our kids were coming in about halfway through the process going, where are we at? Where are we at? How close are we to hitting our rank? And they were literally involved in the process. And when we hit that rank, guess what? We said we're going to Disneyland. So we just went to Disneyland for 3 days and had a complete blast. And you know what? They understand the law of sacrifice. And you know what? So did Walt Disney. Because when Disney first introduced, it wasn't even Mickey Mouse. It was Mortimer Mouse, right? Mortimer. Anybody remember Mortimer Mouse? Many of his associates, including his brother, laughed at his creation. His colleagues and his critics did the same for the Three Little Pigs and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Both animated productions, they were literally labeled Disney's folly. Walt Disneyland's idea was ridiculed as a carny idea from a man with Barnum and Bailey mentality. Now, and that and its sister park, they make over $7 million per day. California Adventure and Disneyland make over $7 million a day. They're labeled as the happiest place on earth. You see, Walt Disney never allowed expert opinion or adversity to stop him from following his dreams. And by the beginning of the 21st century, over 1 billion people had paid admission to see his films. He didn't give up on his dream when the bankers refused to fund his story of a fantasy princess whose innocence wins out over the Wicked Witch. Disney was literally out of money. When he was halfway through filming, he was completely out of money. The extreme pressure and anxiety caused Walt Disney to suffer his third nervous breakdown. But his tenacious resolve never gave in to those wanting him to stop the project. And although the film almost destroyed his marriage, he literally used to sleep at the studio night after night. He finally convinced Bank of America, this is in 1930s, to lend him $5 million to complete that animated film. And the release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is one of their crowning achievements. And a great example of how tenacity as an entrepreneur can add massive value to the rest of the world. 20 million people saw the movie during the first 18 months of release. Time magazine hailed it as a masterpiece. Variety called it an all-time office champ. And at a time when movie tickets were sold for 25 cents, Snow White brought in $8 million in the first year, over $100 million by the 90s. So I only share that story with you because I want you to remember Walt Disney's tenacity the next time that you see a Mickey Mouse t-shirt in an airport or a theme store in any city in the world. His theme parks in Anaheim, in Orlando, Tokyo, Paris, they attract hundreds of millions of visitors every single year because of his tenacity and because of his perseverance. This high school dropout ended up becoming the success that he is. So guys, as we kind of close this call out, you need to understand, we're going to have some highs and we're going to have a lot of lows. Remember what Mama said? There'd be some good days and there'd be some bad days. Guys, let me just show you a quick illustration of what that looks like. Mama said there'd be some good days and some bad days. So this is does this look familiar to anybody? This is a day in the life of an entrepreneur. I'm so excited. Can't wait to get started in my day. Oh, this is so hard. Oh my gosh, you know what? I just got a call back. I just got an inbox from somebody. This is working. I just talked to that person and I totally screwed that up. Could have said this. I should have done it differently. Should have connected them to my upline. Oh my gosh, you know what? This is going well. You know what? I got to give up the good because I got to be for the great. I got to give up the good for the great. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to go bankrupt. I literally can't pay my bills. Oh my gosh, I'm good. I don't know why I get so down on myself. Oh, I was wrong. I suck. I'm not going anywhere in this business. Wait a second. My life is great. This is I'm going to the top. Does that look familiar to anybody? You see, we're all going to have our ups and downs. And just remember this, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. If you have the courage to go after your dreams and surround yourself with some good people and have a tenacious mindset, you're on track to experience the freedoms and the deep sense of fulfillment that comes from owning your own business. Because when you love what you do, I promise you guys this, you will never work another day in your life. John Maxwell once said, wanting to win isn't enough. You have to go through a process to improve, and that takes patience, it takes perseverance, and it takes intentionality. And guys, can I give you just about 3-4 more minutes? Everybody good? Raise your hand if you want to get here just a couple more minutes. I got a couple more things to share here. One more thing I want you to write down is why power. You need why power. You know, let's say that I put down a 6-inch wide, 12-foot plank on the ground and asked you to walk across it for $100. Would you do it? No big deal, right? Sure you would. And now let's say I did the same thing, but this time I asked you to do it 60 stories up for the same $100. Would you still do it? Probably not, I'm guessing. Jeff Higgins says no, he wouldn't do it. But what if your children were on the other side of that plank and the building were on fire? Would you now cross that plank? Oh yeah, every single one of you would. Of course you would. You'd do it without even thinking about $100 or not. You wouldn't hesitate. You see, the risks and the danger stayed the same. So what changed? If the risks and the danger stayed the same, what changed? Your why changed. The reason for wanting to do it. When the why is big enough, you're willing to do the how. If you want this business to work, you have to look past the motivation of monetary and material goals. Those things are, nice and important and being freedom, but you got to look past that. It's not that those things are bad. I like nice things too, and the options that money affords my family, but material things can't really recruit your heart and your soul and your guts into battle. That comes from something much deeper. So I want you to think about this. My goal, my assignment for all of you over the next 24 hours is I want you really to define your why. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to make more money? What are you willing to fight for and willing to work day and night for? What would cause you to walk across that beam 60 stories up? Because this is your passion. This is the single most important discovery that you guys can make in yourself. This is the fuel for your engine. Once you understand this and you can truly get a hold of it, then it's a matter of just asking yourself, where are you going? Get real clear on where you're going, right? Lewis Carroll said it best. If you don't know where you're going, any road will do. Any road will do. And the last thing I'll close on is personal development. I can't have to mention personal development when it comes to mindset. John Maxwell is one of my favorite personal development mentors. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership was the first personal development book, actually the second personal development book that I read. How to Win Friends and Influence People was the first. And, the only certainty in life is change. This is something that Summer and I have learned over and over and over again throughout our life, and especially in the last 20 years as 20 business owners. Summer and I once owned a very successful lead generation business and providing leads to the mortgage industry. And unfortunately, the mortgage industry collapsed. Remember that back in 07 and 08. And it caused us to lay off our employees and eventually shut down our company. We built to the top position in a couple of network marketing companies. In each of these different scenarios, the companies were either bought out or they were sold, and we had to start over again. A couple of years ago, I lost my mom. It was the hardest thing that I've ever experienced in my life. I was a mama's boy. I mean, the hardest experience of my life. My point in sharing these experiences with you is life is always moving. Life is always changing. It's always evolving. And we have to be adapting and looking for the lessons in each experience. Herculitus once said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and you're not the same man." So if you're smart, you'll look for the life lessons with each experience. Personal growth is the single greatest contributing factor in a successful business, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about the money. I want you to remember this. It's not about the money. It's about who you become in the process and who you help along the way. The money is a byproduct of those things. So just remember that, and just remember the resolve.
Oh.
You just remember the resolve. You're going to...
I was part of the call.
Hang on one second here. Get a little feedback. All right, mute it up. All right, guys. So listen. In closing, I want you to get that declaration in your mind. I'm going to the mountain, or I'm going to die trying. And certainly your friends and family are going to say to you, you don't know the first thing about climbing mountains. But when you start, people are going to tell you the mountain is no good. I've heard people have fallen off this mountain, and they've even gotten hurt. Some people will tell you, you should climb the mountain over here, and we'll make even a deal for you to come over here. This mountain's much better. Come over to this mountain. But I want you guys to make this declaration tonight. This is my mountain right here, Uforia. You'll see me on the top, or you're going to see me dead on the side of the mountain, but I'm not coming back. I'm going to the top of the mountain. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life that you guys have always imagined, because you absolutely deserve it. Never, ever quit on your dreams. And so we're going to wrap up there tonight. So hopefully something that we shared tonight sparked something inside of you. And I want to say thank you guys very much for listening in. And let's go out and close this month out strong, you guys. Let's dream big. Let's work hard. Let's go change some lives. You guys have a great evening.
Thank you.
Amazing, Travis. Always the best. Unbelievable.
Yeah, great stuff, Travis. Thanks a lot.